Hello, beautiful people, groupies. It is Hoerner happy hour. Why can I never say it? Triple H. We'll go with that. We have a couple questions today, and then I'm going to talk about something at the end that I want to make sure you're aware of. So stay on. If you're watching the recording, you can fast forward. I didn't send out an email reminder today. I do that sometimes. I don't want to inundate you guys. Just make sure you set reminders on your calendar. I'll always tell you the time ahead of time for Hoerner happy hour, so hopefully you can make it here. But we have some good ones today. Actually, awesome. Somebody asked, who was it? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who it was that asked about auditions. They're prepping for an audition. She's super excited. I need to go back. If you're listening, if that's you, let me know in the comments. I'm so sorry, I forgot who it was. But super convenient because tonight we're holding auditions at my studio. Actually, we've had a few rounds of them. So I am very in tune right now with what people are, specifically what we're looking for in an audition. So I'm going to share that with you guys if you're going to audition, or even just if you want to focus on certain things to get better. These are kind of the things that we look for, and I would imagine they're pretty similar across different gyms. I know, I think it was Katie that posted some of what they look for. There's a lot of different things, but I'll give you kind of the main things that we look for. We have an evaluation form. It's very thorough, but I'll give you the basics. So if you're going into an audition, there are a few things aside from the actual audition that you want to make sure you do. Show up early. If you're on time, you're late, right? They want to see that you will be there early for your classes. If you show up right at the audition time, that's not really coming across well. Obviously, we want instructors to show up before their classes so they can help people set up, they can help people check in, get to know people. If you're showing up right when things are supposed to start, not a good look. So make sure you show up early. When you're going up for your audition, you want to introduce yourself, do your whole spiel. Even if you're only doing, we usually ask people to do about 3 songs. Still give your normal intro. Make sure that they understand, and they might tell you don't have to do that. We just want to see how you ride. I'd be surprised by that, but make sure you introduce yourself, kind of give all the basics. Imagine you're talking to a bunch of new riders and give a basic intro, preface the ride. So a few other things. Once you get into the nitty gritty of the audition, a few things to look for. Energy and music kind of have to fit whatever time slot you're going for. So if you don't have one, just bring high energy. It's always going to be high energy, but sometimes if you're teaching a 6 a.m. class versus a 6 p.m. class or a weekend class, it'll vary a little bit, and you'll see that as you teach more. But kind of keep that in the back of your head, because that's something that, especially if you're going for a specific time slot, it might be good to consider. Or, depending on the demographic of the studio, if they're older, if they're younger, like college kids, you kind of want to adjust your music and your vibe to fit that. If you're auditioning for somewhere that rides to the rhythm and the beat of the music, I suggest doing that anyways. Even if you're not teaching to it, it makes it easier to follow, but make sure you can do that. Make sure you can cue to it. Something that a lot of people don't think about that's really, really important, keeping up with the routine. So we've had people come in, they're great logistically, cueing wise, they have good form, but they're doing 3 songs, and by the 3rd song, they're totally winded and they can't cue. So make sure you practice. Not only you got to be in shape, but you got to be able to do what you're doing on the bike while still speaking in a clear voice and communicating in a way that people can understand what you're saying and you're not totally out of breath. It's not a good look if the instructor is dying 3 songs into the class. And granted, it's kind of a learned skill. You will adjust where you are as an instructor to be able to teach. So you might not be going as hard as you're coaching them to go, especially at the beginning, and that's okay. It's more important that you're giving them the class that they want and that they should be getting, that they paid for. So keep that in mind, that you want to make sure you're in shape and you're also in shape enough to speak while you're doing it. Smooth, voice. Voice is so key. If you get up there and you're super pitchy and you're screaming into the mic, it's really uncomfortable for your riders. So practice having a nice smooth tone. You want to vary your pitch a little bit, like not very pitch, very tone a little bit, nice smooth pitch, but you don't want to be monotone, but you also don't want to be screaming into the mic. So you're adjusting, and I could coach this for like an hour. If this is something you struggle with, we can talk, but you definitely want to make sure you have your teacher voice on. So maybe that's a topic for another day and we go in depth with that. But it's definitely something we talk about in all the other stuff. All my clients, this is something that people struggle with and don't necessarily think about, but it is a very important thing to get that teacher voice down. If you're doing choreography, if you're at a place that does moves on top of the bike, just make sure you're providing modifications or prefacing, if you have any sort of shoulder injury, leave this out, just ride. And if you are doing choreography, you want to make sure you have your counting down. It's got to be, you got to be on beat. You also have to do things that are reasonable. Don't do anything crazy on the bike. Nothing where both hands are off the bike at the same time. If you disagree with that, that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion, but personally, to me, that is very dangerous. You want to demonstrate as well as cue proper form on the bike. So that's something I always look for, because if an instructor is hunched back, shoulders in, while they're teaching, then everyone else is going to think that that's okay. So not only do you have to cue it, but you have to do it yourself. So make sure your form is down, especially throughout your audition. As you get more tired, you have to be able to maintain good form. Sorry, this is a lot. I'm basically reading, what we have on our evaluation form. So don't worry, this is going to be recorded. You can go back and listen to these. I'm just trying to give you all the information I can. You want to have some motivational cues in there. So make sure you're not all technical, right? You want to motivate and kind of command the room. You want to get people excited to be there. So sometimes that requires getting a little mushy, getting a little, woo-woo and really bringing the inspiration in. You can prep that stuff beforehand, maybe have a couple cues in your head so that you know what to say when you get nervous. But make sure you bring a little bit of that in, because it is important to get people excited. And two more things. Okay. This is something really important that you might not think about, but as a manager, you could be perfect up there on the bike and just need a little bit of tweaking, but you have to be trainable. If you come in there, I want you to be confident, but if you come in there like, I run this shit, I know that you're not going to be trainable. You're not going to be someone who I can mold to fit what I want in my instructors. And if that's the case, then you're an immediate no for me. You have to be humble and you have to be willing to learn and improve. And I would imagine if you're in this group, you are, because everyone here is looking to learn and improve. But just make sure you have that way about you, that you're confident yet humble, because it is important to be able to hire people that, especially for me, that I can help you get better and you're willing to get better. And the last thing is to just have fun. Like, first and foremost, our instructors have to be a personality up there and have fun on the bike. Like, if people see you having fun up there, they're going to have fun too. If you're all business, no pleasure, then it's not going to be any fun for the people riding with you. So if you remember nothing else, just let your personality come out, be you, because that is really, all the other stuff can be trained. But if you can't get comfortable on the bike and let your personality come out, then that is something I can't train. So that's something we really look for is if that person up there on that podium is likable and excited and happy and fun and people are glad to be in the room with you, then the rest of it we can train. So I know that was a lot. Don't worry if you don't have that all down. Just do your best, maybe nail a few of those things, because again, personality comes first, having fun up there, being comfortable and being trainable. All those things will just come if you are focused on just doing a good job and having fun. So if you have any questions, let me know. A couple other things you could do, or just make sure you understand the culture of the place that you're applying to, how their instructors work, how the studio works. If it's a studio, know the bikes, know the monitors. There's a lot more to an audition than people realize. And I think, we've had some people come in and just think, it's only 3 songs, I can do this, no problem. But there's a lot of prep work that goes into it. So it sounds like you're already doing, I think it was Katie who asked this, or not Katie, I'm sorry. Katie responded. Again, don't know who it is. I'm so sorry. Comment, please. I'll come find you. But whoever it is, it sounds like you're already doing your due diligence. So you're probably in good shape. So get excited. It'll be great. I think you said it is, when is it? Next week. So let us know how it goes. Come back in here. Let me know. And ask for feedback, because that's always really helpful. Get constructive feedback. Even if you don't end up getting the position, this is a great way for you to get an opinion of someone who's in the industry and really knows how to assess people, and you could use that to become a better instructor, even if you don't get the position. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Second question we had here was an anonymous question. And I don't want to get too specific, but this person is struggling with finding a spot on the schedule. She's coming back. She took some time off, and she's going back to this gym, and she's having trouble getting a spot. Here's the problem. As a fitness director or fitness manager, and I can speak to this, right, because this is what I do. If somebody leaves us, we're actually having someone go on maternity leave shortly. We're going to have to fill her spot. When she comes back, we know she's great. We know we're going to do our best to get her back on that schedule. But if we fill her spot with someone who is holding classes, they're doing well, it's also not fair for us to then take that spot away just to give it back to this person, right? There's a little bit of balance that we got to strike. Now, if you are a manager or you've ever tried to manage a schedule of instructors, it is chaos. It is a pure puzzle that is unsolvable. Not everyone's going to be happy. You're not always going to get what you want. It's a very difficult job. So think about it from your director's point of view. It is really tricky. Now, I say what I would do if I were you and I were trying to get back on the schedule and there just wasn't a spot for me. I would offer a few things. First of all, talk to the director, because there might be options. I don't know if you've done this already, but if you were a good instructor and you're reliable and you're loyal, chances are, even if it's not right away, they're going to get you back in there. I would offer up, obviously, subbing as much as possible, getting your face back into the community, getting people to recognize you, trying to fill those sub classes. Really, maybe go on social media, say sub alert, I'm coming in, try and get those classes full so that you can then go to the manager and say, look, I subbed once and look at how many people I got in my class, things like that. The other thing you could do, and we have done this multiple times for people that we think are going to be good instructors, creating a new time slot. So what we'll do is we'll work with the instructor to find a time slot that works for them that we also think would work for our clients, or we want to do a trial slot and see how it does. Especially in the summer, it's a good time to do trial stuff like that. So we've created a time slot for a particular person who wasn't able to get on the schedule. We see how it does over the course of a couple months. If they're able to fill the room with that time slot, we keep it, because why the heck not, right? That's great. You can fill a room, then we're going to keep you on there. So you could offer to, go to your director, say, what if we try, XYZ time slot? Give me a couple months. I'll try to fill the room. If I don't get X amount of people in here by the end of 2 months, then, we can reassess or whatever. But I think it's worth a shot, because if they're as a director or a manager, their number one focus is getting people into those classes. And if they have good instructors who can fill a room, they're going to add another class as long as it's in their ability to do so. So offer up some time slots, go meet with your manager, talk about subbing, talk about that new time slot, see what they can do, show that you really want to get back in there and that you're really interested and that you feel like you deserve it because you did it before, you're loyal to them, you want to be loyal to them. And then, if that doesn't work and they're not willing to work with you, then there are usually plenty of other places that you could try to teach. I would suggest starting to look around and find somewhere else. You never know. There might be somewhere even better, a different gym, a different studio. Maybe something new has popped up. I know around Boston, there's a new cycling studio probably every month. It's crazy. So there's always somewhere else to go. So don't feel like you don't have options if this place isn't working out for you. All you can do is give the best class that you can, fill your classes, be loyal, work hard, keep improving as an instructor, and that's kind of it. If the manager isn't willing to work with you, then you got to go elsewhere. So hopefully I gave you some ideas there. Again, don't stress it too much. It's really just this person, this manager, this director is probably just trying to figure out how to keep the schedule as best they can and fill the classes. And, it's a hard game. It's a hard puzzle. So let me know. You can private message me because I know this was an anonymous question. Let me know how it goes. We can work through it, find something else if that doesn't work out. You can come to Boston and teach for me. Okay, and last thing I just wanted to mention, this is the last time. So by next week, by the next Hoerner happy hour, the discount for Cycle Poet Method will have gone away. So remember, this is the do-it-yourself version. You get full access to the portal right away, $30 off. So it's 67 versus 97 for the next 5 days. 5 days. You'll get full access to the portal. We got 6 modules. It's very thorough. I go through the whole cycle poet method and all the things that you need to plan a class and have like kind of a sustainable, efficient method for planning classes. So you're not going to spend 80 million hours doing it. We go through everything, the whole routine, everything you need to know, how you need to build it, music, introductions, all those things, common instructor questions, and you can see all the details. I'll put the link's already in there. I remembered this time, guys. All the details are in there. Just make sure you sign up before August 1st if you want the discount. You can still get it after then, so if you need some more time to think about it, but it will go up to 97 at that point. So I wanted to make sure I told you guys that, because by next Hoerner Happy Hour, it will be back to the normal price. I already had a bunch of people, especially this week. You guys, something turned on and a bunch of people signed up this week. So I'm excited for you guys to get it. Access starts on August 1st. So if you buy now, you'll get full access at that point. Okay, and that is all we have. I don't see any other questions. So if you guys have anything else, I'll answer it next week. Just post it in the group, post it in the comments here, and hopefully you guys have a lovely rest of your week. I'll see you later.